Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. We're here at Cathedral Rock, one of the other of the 4 vortexes here in Sedona. You can really feel the energy here. Karen and I are sitting down on this rock, and there's really not a breeze anywhere else, but close down to these rocks, it feels like it's swirling around.
It's
right?
insane. It's very hard to describe, but you can feel it coming up and around your body. I feel it really prominently on my cheeks and my face. Do you feel that?
I do. I feel it, all over.
It's crazy because everywhere else, the air here is completely still. But we had this same feeling yesterday when we were at Bell Rock, which is one of the other top areas for this energetic field, and we both felt it before coming to this spot that we're sitting in right now. And you can see behind us the enormity of Cathedral Rock. We were sitting a little bit higher up in a shady spot right by this tree that was completely gnarled and twisted. And what we're learning is that the twisted trees are a result of really strong vortex areas, really strong energetic fields. So if you see that, that's a really great place to stop and sit and reconnect with the earth and reinvigorate and re-energize yourself. So we sat up there for about a half an hour, and the same experience with this air that you're talking about was really prevalent there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And yesterday, I talk about that a little bit. If you saw our videos from yesterday on Bell Rock, Karen and I went down and we brought all of our rocks out to recharge them, and we were out on Bell Rock and had them out there, and I was standing up looking off into the distance, and this extreme wind came up, and it was just so powerful. It felt like it just cleansed me. It's hard to explain, but it was really magical. And there's just so much energy. It was like when we lost Captain, and that wind the next day, I said, that's him. And I said that again. I said, that's Captain. The wind was just so strong.
You did. And I actually felt Maisie, one of our other dogs. In fact, Max and Maisie were the first 2 dogs. They were litter mates that we ever got.
Right.
And
they were great.
We got them, I think, 30 years ago. So they have transitioned on, but Maisie passed away I think she was definitely, around 14. She had a long life, and she was definitely at the end of her life. And so I never left her, and I was at a park and holding her in my arms, and the windows were down, and this gust of wind came out of nowhere and blew right through the driver's side and out the passenger side at the exact same moment that she took her last breath in my arms. And that was such a profound moment for me, and it didn't fully make sense to me at the time, but it does now.
Yeah.
It was, these energetic fields are everywhere, and you just need to be aware of them to experience the benefits.
Well, we're just all energy. Everything on this planet is energy. The energy's in these rocks and these trees and these people that are hiking up here, the cars I see driving up the road. I mean, everything's energy, and it just flows from one thing to the next, one unit of mass to the next. I mean, the energy never dies. It just goes from one object into another, or one person into another, or out of a physical body into the spiritual realm, or whatever it is that that's that wind you probably felt coming through with Maisie. And just like yesterday, that wind that came across Bell Rock was just crazy, and it just you could feel it, and like I can feel us now. It's just a subtle it's a subtle wind just circling this thing. And if you look at these things, they're like the stratification of these things, it's the rock, but also it's like the layers. You can see the layers behind me here.
Right.
It's like they round out. It's almost like a beehive as it goes down.
And show them the spot too, where specifically where we're sitting. You're just gonna have to drop down. We're sitting on an area. Everything is completely
it's gray,
red, except for where we're sitting.
Yeah, it's like a gray ring that's out here.
Right. And so I was drawn to sit in this spot because an earlier meditation this morning led me to write down that I need to follow the bright lights, and that's where everything that I'm looking for, all that I seek is there. And when I saw this, I felt really compelled to sit on this particular spot because it's all the puzzle pieces are fitting together, and it's a very, very cool feeling. You know what else is really unique is I feel incredibly calm among all this energy. So sometimes you feel that if you're in the vortex with an enormous amount of energy, that you're going to feel an enormous amount of physical energy. But
you're thinking like you're explaining almost like a tornado where it would be lifting up your house and throwing things around is what you think of, right? Well, this is like a very calming.
It's a calming
vortex.
Energy. It's energizing the soul and the spirit more so than the physical body, which makes perfect sense because these bodies are just with us for, it depends however long, we're on Earth, but, maybe if we're lucky, 104 years, right? We get to keep these bodies, but it makes sense if this is a very spiritual, cultural in the sense of your spirit and your soul experience, that it really wouldn't affect the physical body, right?
Yeah. Very spiritual.
So beautiful. So again, if you are thinking of visiting Sedona, definitely put Cathedral Rock on your list. It is a little bit more difficult of a climb than Bell Rock, only, and still easy enough, I think, for anyone to do. We do have Sugar Baby with us, so I was hiking with her on my back, so some of these rocks are a little bit steeper and slicker, and it's just a little more difficult, in that regard. So if you are planning to come here and hike, bear in mind if you're bringing a backpack that will make it a little bit tougher, but definitely it needs to be on your bucket list.
Yeah, well, Sedona should just be on the bucket list. This is great. We've driven through here before, but never spent all this time here. It's just magical. We've got other things to share with you. We've got Reiki healing planned and shamanic healings and all crystals. That kind of stuff. We're heading to a wine tasting tonight with Arizona wine, so we've got a few other things to share with you, but this has been a magical stay, and we've got quite a bit more time here, so we're excited to uncover some more magic.
Yeah, and stay with us on that wine tasting that we're heading to. This is not an ordinary vineyard. It's got an amazing history that dates back to the 1500s. So we'll talk about that during the tasting, but I just want to make sure that that's coming up. And like Jeffrey said, some of the crystal healing, the shamanic healing, and the Reiki healings will be giving you feedback and reporting back on all those things. So
yeah, I know nothing about this winery that you're talking about, so I'm excited about it.
It's super cool.
Are you sure you have that date right? The 1500s. That would be really early.
The winery dates back to 1912,
right?
But the grapes, there is actually a cloned grape that dates back as far as the original being in the 1500s.
Yeah, not here in Spain.
That was correct.
Okay, great.
That was given to...
I don't want people to think that these vineyards here in Arizona were from the 1500s.
No, definitely not. The grape was given to a priest. And this winery all came about in these early wineries in the 1500s because the priests needed them for the services for the blood of Christ ritual that takes place, and that's what this. So we'll get into more detail about that.
Well, I'm not really a priest, but I think I need him for my services tonight.
Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from Cathedral Rock in Sedona, Arizona.
See you guys.